Welcome back to the North Star Takes podcast. I'm Bailey Paulicki. He's Jacob Liberta, and we're a Minnesota sports podcast. And you can follow us by clicking the like button on this video and also hitting the subscribe button on this channel to hear more Minnesota sports content. And today we're going to be talking Minnesota Vikings Week 1 preview against the Green Bay Packers. Regular season is finally here, and of course we got the rival Green Bay Packers Week 1. So let's just jump right into it, Liberta. What's one of the main things you're going to be watching for Week 1 here against Green Bay?
I think it's got to start with our new leadership, our new head coach, Kevin O'Connell. Got to see if he looks like he's in over his head in such a big game to really start out his NFL head coaching career. I think it doesn't get any bigger than this than playing at home, like you said, against your biggest rival. So I kind of want to see what we're in store for here, and hopefully we get off on the right foot, and hopefully he's everything we imagine he could be for Kirk, and our offense hopefully might take a little bit to shake out the rust, but it'll show some flashes that will get us excited for the rest of the season. I think that's probably the biggest thing here, because we're going to go as far as this offense takes us. I don't think this defense is going to be amazing by any stretch of the imagination. I think ideally they're probably pushing top 10, probably top half of the league or something, just like not a liability, but they're probably not going to like go out there like our 2017 defense and go win games for us. Like that's not going to happen. So it's got to start with that offense, and hopefully after all these guys just didn't play in the preseason, which I like that. I should also preface that by saying I didn't want any of our starters playing. They didn't, so I'm happy. But I think I think just like everybody else, I'm really curious to see what that offense looks like and see what kind of tricks O'Connell's got up his sleeve for this huge game already right away in Week 1. How about you, Bailey?
Yeah, that'll be a fascinating battle, especially since the Green Bay defense is getting kind of hyped up right now. A lot of people anticipate them to be a top 5 defense, if not maybe the best defense in the NFL. So that'll be interesting because we're not really used to Green Bay just having a very good defense. But typically we can always rely on scoring against them. So if the offense comes out rusty, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out, because I actually have more faith that our defense, and that's what I'm watching for, is our new look defense is going to be able to kind of shut down the Packers. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to pitch a shutout by any means, but I mean, who the heck is Aaron Rodgers throwing to? Alan Lazard.
Oh, yeah, true.
Is Lazard going to play? I mean, Dubs is a rookie. Christian Watson. I mean, is he really going to get much run? And then there's like Randall Cobb and Sammy Watkins, who are both washed up. So Rodgers is a fantastic quarterback, back-to-back MVP, but I mean, if he doesn't have anyone to really throw to, I mean, it's going to make a long day for him. They do have 2 solid running backs, and I'm still concerned about our ability to stop the run.
Yeah.
Although I do think hopefully Harrison Phillips will help with that, but I need to see it, I guess, first before I really have faith in that. So, yeah, I'm interested to see Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter coming off the edge. It's so nice to have another legit pass rusher back with Danielle Hunter, and hopefully these two can stay healthy finally for the first time in a couple of years. And I'm really looking forward to those guys having a great year. And then obviously kind of piggybacking off your offense and Kevin O'Connell, I mean, I just want to see how they use Justin Jefferson. I mean, is he going to be used like Cooper Kupp? Are they going to be moving him all over the field? Is he going to be the number one? I would assume he's the number one target, but Kirk does fall in love with Thielen a lot. So are they going to make a conscious effort of getting Justin Jefferson the ball, which we didn't see a lot under Zimmer? There would be halves of games where Jefferson wouldn't even get the ball. So that's also another thing I'm looking forward to. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. We're going to this is a huge litmus test right away for this Vikings team to see if anything's really changed, from the previous regime being here. So I'm excited to see this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. You can always get it for a Green Bay game, no matter what year it is or what the circumstances are. I think it's always easy, especially in Week 1. Just the energy will just be next level. So that's gonna be fun. I know last time, a couple years ago, when we hosted Green Bay to open the season, that wasn't the same because there's no fans. But now you'll have an amped up US Bank Stadium, which that'll be a lot of fun. And like you said too, yeah, I think they brought up Jefferson there. I mean, he's our best player, and you kind of wonder how he'll be used because everybody. All offseason has been talking about how this can be Cooper Kupp 2.0 basically, or he's just going to be a monster with in every statistical category you could think of. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. And like you said, on defense, I think you also brought up 2 running backs that the Packers are going to counter with. If their passing game, like they don't have a lot of talented pass catchers, so they might lean on that run game a little bit more. And that is kind of a question mark for us as far as what that will look like with this new 3-4 scheme and really what kind of person packages we're going to run on a consistent basis, or it's going to be a lot of everything right away here, and what Donatello's ideas are, I guess. But it kind of comes down to, like you said, I think the focal point there is going to be Harrison Phillips. I think Harrison Phillips, if he's going to have to be a key cog and stop the run, because like if he can,
Yes.
I'm going to be very worried because as far as everybody else are bringing in here, like there's not much else as far as that makes me feel good about stopping the run. Like Tomlinson was part of the mix last year. We were terrible against the run.
Yes.
And then we got Jonathan Ballard, who's coincidentally the only guy showing up in the injury report. And then we got Kendricks and Hicks right at the middle. But again, those guys are kind of aging. They're tackling machines, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what they'll look like against the run, I guess. So I don't know. There's certainly some uncertainty there. So I'm curious to see what kind of game plan too LaFleur's going to come in with, because I think based off of what they're good at, like at least going into week one, it might be a pretty strong run game, or at least
Right.
getting the running backs involved in some capacity. That might be the passing game too. Like Aaron Jones is a very talented pass catcher, but there's so much to watch, so much to dig your teeth into and think about here. But it makes you really excited for Sunday.
So let's move ahead with our game prediction here. Who do you think wins this game, Liberta, and how close do you think of a game this is?
Yeah, this is going to be an extremely close game. I think most week one games, at least that I can recall, like looking back on it, usually it's a nail biter, at least a back and forth kind of affair where
Mm-hmm.
teams are really getting their footing, getting their feet wet for the season ahead, just because more and more common these days for everybody to rest their starters, and this is kind of the first real sustained game action everybody's seeing.
Yep.
So I think that there's a lot of rust to be shaken off. So these teams don't right now, they won't look like what they will later this season. So I think that just kind of evens the playing field a little bit. And yeah, that's why I think it'll be close. And it's also a division game against the Packers, So I think it'll be close, but I gotta give us the win. I mean, come on, O'Connell's first game. I gotta pick us to beat the Packers. Can't
Yeah.
come in here saying the Packers are gonna win, but it could go either way. So I'm gonna go Vikings. I'll say, oof, I'm gonna say it'd be kind of a you'll see a little bit of everything in this one. So I'm gonna say we win 27-23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I was thinking 26-23 in my head. I'm gonna go with the Vikings winning as well. Yeah, I think it's just the fact that the Packers don't have their whole team. They lost their best receiver in the offseason. There's no film on what the Vikings are going to be doing offensively right now. I mean, you could try to glean some things from the Rams, but until the Vikings have a couple games and put some stuff on film, we're going to be relatively unknown. So basically, as long as the offense kind of doesn't shoot itself in the foot, I think we're actually going to have a fairly successful day. So
Sure.
I got the Vikings winning as well, and I'll go. See, Greg Joseph is definitely going to kick a field goal in this game, so I'll go 24-20. Vikings win.
There we go. Love it. Another
So
4-point win.
yeah, we have to have a Greg the leg field goal. He was basically our best player throughout the entire preseason. So him and Ryan Wright stole the preseason. But yeah, it'll be fun, man. I mean, especially like beating the Packers week one, starting 1-0 for the first time in a few years as well. I mean, that'll be massive for this team. And also having Green Bay start 0-1, you have that first win against them in the back pocket. It's
yes, the division games are huge. That's what the
yes.
tiebreakers come down to at the end of the season, if need be. Where it's
Yes.
like obviously it starts with the head-to-head matchups, which you like to at least get the one at home, and then you consider just division in general if you're tied with anybody else for some reason. So
Exactly.
I think that's really critical and right away in week one.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. So let's kind of transition here. Our final thoughts. Final Vikings record prediction for the season. We've kind of gone through the schedule when the schedule release came out. We don't need to go through it game by game, but where are you kind of standing on how the Vikings are going to finish this year? You can even tell me where in the division they finish if you want to.
Sure. I'm going to say we finish second in the division. I'm confident that I really want to pick them to finish above the Packers, but I've gotten to a point with them where I'm not going to believe they're going to be bad until I literally see it right in front of me, where it happens over the course of the season, actually, because LaFleur's won 13 games every year of his 3 years in Green Bay, so it's like, why is this year different? I know the wide receiver group is weaker, but I feel like Rodgers has made it work with just about anybody. It's like they had Devontae Adams, who obviously is very good, but like besides that, he's been working with kind of a thin receiving core to begin with for a while. So we'll see. But I can't pick against them right now. So I'm gonna say Vikings are second in the division, and I'm gonna say they're right around that Vegas win total line where I know it kind of fluctuates depending on the sports book you go to, and it's kind of moved up and down a little bit as the season gets closer. But I'm gonna land right around where it is at most of them, and I'm gonna say 9 on the dot, just
Okay.
because I think I think the Lions are at 9.5, and I'm saying maybe they're at 9, but they're gonna win 9 games, and it's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
9-8 record. I just can't pick them to win more than that right now because I got that maybe a little bit of pessimism in me, or maybe a little bit of guard. Maybe I'm guarding myself
For sure, yeah.
in some regards, but I'm just picking us to win 9 games because it's a first year head coach. I think there's going to be some learning experiences here that might cost us a game or two. So I I think this team is plenty capable of winning more than that, and probably upwards of 11, 12 games. Everything falls right, but just first year head coach, they don't usually have the greatest of success right away. I know Fleur did certainly, but
Mm-hmm.
like I think it just doesn't happen a lot. So yeah, I'm feeling a really Viking season with Kirk at 9-8. I don't know. So where do you land right now, Bailey?
So I can't remember what I picked previously on our show, but I know when we've talked about it before, I've been around 10, 11 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stick at 10, I think. I'm gonna say 10-7, so one game better than you. And the main reasoning for that is they have a very favorable home schedule. First of all, they have
That's true.
9 home games.
That's a lot. You got to take
Um,
advantage of that.
yeah, and really like the toughest home games are like the Patriots on Thanksgiving night, I'd say, maybe the Cardinals, and then obviously the Packers week 1. So it's like they don't have anyone super difficult at home. And the road schedule is more difficult, no question. And they're
Just
just
going to
they've
Buffalo.
yeah, Buffalo, like even having to go to Chicago every year, they always
Yeah.
struggle in Chicago. So it's
And
like,
this year, that's how we're ending the season.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
gonna be
So it's
just
like
bitter cold.
you're gonna have 8 road games. Can you win 3 of them, assuming you win 7 home games? You drop 2 home games. I mean, I feel like that's fairly realistic. Maybe you drop a third home game, but even if you win 6 home games, can you win half your road games? Or if you win 7 home games, can you win 3 road games and come out with 10 wins? So like I feel like that's very doable. But I'm also kind of with you where it's like, man, until the Vikings actually prove it, it's been the same team year after year after year, and they've just always been right around the 500 mark. So you know,
Exactly.
until they can actually prove it to us, I totally understand where you're coming from. But yeah, I got 10-7, second in the division, because I would assume Green Bay probably wins 11, 12 games again, assuming health too. I mean, if the Packers are dealing with injuries all year, maybe Rodgers gets dinged up and has to miss a game or two. Obviously, that throws things for a loop. But
Yeah.
I have us finishing second in the division, and being one of the better wild cards, maybe a 5 or 6 seeds. So
Sure.
I think that's where a lot of people have the Vikings too. I mean, there's not a ton of people that have the Vikings winning the division, so
Yeah.
um,
I will say, I think with even at my 9 wins, I think that still gets them a playoff spot. Obviously, not an optimal one, probably like the 7th spot, but I think
yeah,
9 wins would be good enough in this NFC to get us in. Just because I think the NFC is weaker this year,
yeah,
far weaker than the AFC, but comparing this NFC to other ones and even in the very recent years, I just don't think it all starts with the quarterbacks and the strength at the top of the conference. It's like,
yeah,
oh, the Packers got Rodgers, great. And oh, Bucks got Brady. That's great too. I mean, he's very good, and that offense will be
hmm
very good. But then beyond that, you got the Rams, defending Super Bowl champs. You got Stafford, he's good, especially combined with McVay. But then it's
yeah,
like, then after that, you're talking about like Dak, and it's like, okay, Dak's pretty good, but he's also a byproduct of those around him. So like, if they have injuries, and they're already kind of thin the way it is as far as playmakers go, because they shipped out Cooper, and then Gallup is hurt right now, so it's like C.D. Lamb, Dalton Schultz, and then I mean, who else? So
Michael
I
Gallup,
can, yeah, Mike, yeah, Gallup. He's banged up right now, and then like even
yeah,
Cedric Wilson, who's their 4th receiver last year, he's gone too. But it's like I don't feel great about that. And then Kyler Murray, him and Cliff, I can't confidently say they're gonna do anything great
right.
because if it was gonna happen, I felt like what happened last year because they started like 7 or 8-0, and then it just completely fell off, and they ended up like kind of limping into the playoffs a little bit. Where they end up 11-6 or something like that. So
Sounds right.
yeah, no, I don't feel great about that either. So that's really where it stands. Then there's like Kirk. Where does Kirk fit and all that? And then in my mind, there's nobody else even close after that
Right.
in the NFC, because you think about go around the conference, like Jameis Winston, Baker Mayfield, Marcus
Mm-hmm.
Mariota, Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, maybe a byproduct
Yeah.
of that offense. Daniel Jones, I don't know what table's really going to got him. And then go to the West, and it's like Trey Lance, that's a huge unknown. I think that
Yes.
could be as big of a wild factor as there is really in the NFC
Yeah.
this year. And then Seattle's a joke. and then yeah, we already went over the other ones. So it's
Mm-hmm.
you got Fields and Goff. Like
Yeah. Not worried
it's
about
just
them.
it's just weak.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point when you break it down like that. Just simply looking at quarterbacks,
Yeah.
the Vikings, have a top 7 quarterback in the NFC.
Yes.
They should,
And that
but
should get you in the playoffs.
exactly that alone should help you. But it hasn't really helped us the last couple of years. So,
Good point.
any other final thoughts from you before we take off here on the game this weekend, or just the outlook on the season in general?
Yeah, I just gotta temper my expectations, like you said. I think that's what we're doing here is making sure we're not ahead of our skis and not like saying this team before we even seen O'Connell really coach a game, being
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're gonna go finish first or second in the NFC and we're going to the Super Bowl right away in year one. I think we just got to temper expectations a little bit, and I think they got to prove it to us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's hard, to not get caught up in the preseason hype, and as the season gets closer, you get more excited, and you start to think,
Yeah,
oh, maybe this is the year, maybe we make a run, and yeah, I'm with you. I mean, we've seen it long enough now. We've been watching this team for years and years and years, and until they actually do it and surprise us, then that's one thing. But I think tempering expectations is definitely a good thing. Like you mentioned earlier, putting that guard up a little bit to
yes.
prevent us from being hurt and heartbroken all over again. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, it'll be a fun season. The NFL is the king of sports in America, so it'll be fun to enjoy that. At least you got fantasy football and all this other stuff going on too.
Oh
So
yeah.
that will do it for this edition of the North Star Takes podcast. Like I mentioned earlier, please click the like button on this video and subscribe to our channel if you want more Minnesota sports conversations. Feel free to give us a follow on both Twitter and Instagram, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What are you expecting out of the Vikings this week against the Packers, and maybe the outlook on the Vikings season in general? Any other thoughts you have on the Vikings? And hopefully next time we talk to you guys, we're talking about a Vikings Week 1 win. So until next time, thanks for watching.